First Aleph. Now we'll look at the first Aleph verbs. These are also first gutturals, but they have one peculiarity. They have a strong preference, first Aleph verbs do, for a chataf segol under the first radical. Okay? Under here, under the Aleph. And because of that, its prefix vowel goes to a segol as well for the imperfect, for the prefix forms. Now, when I talked about the first guttural pattern 2, this one here, chazak, I said this was the only one that I was aware of that had a segol as a prefix vowel, like for all the forms, not just Aleph. Well, I did that. I said that because I looked through Ross's tables, and I didn't see any other ones. But, in fact, here they are. So, I was wrong there. First Aleph generally has segol under the Aleph, and because of that, the prefix vowel will also be segol. Now, the chart that Ross has at the back of his book, he has a chart for first Aleph with just a single paradigm in there. He has achal, which is, there are 5 verbs that are, or a few verbs that are an exception to this. And I'll come to that in the next slide, which is why I didn't see this here, because he doesn't include this. He just puts those ones that are the exception. But this is the regular behavior. First Aleph regularly has segol. It likes segol. This is just here by way of comparison. These are the 2 patterns we had for first gutturals in general, first gutturals that aren't Aleph. We have the ones with the patach. If it has theme vowel holum, then it tends to have a patach, which is the one that looks a bit like a hiphil. And if it has a theme vowel chazak, or theme vowel patach, as in chazak, then it'll tend to have the segol. And then this is our strong verb, again, just by way of comparison. So here we have segol, segol, patach, segol, and then here we have the hiddick. Hiddick is what we normally expect. So, again, segol is what we have with Aleph, first Aleph. That's the normal behavior for first Aleph. Now, here we have an exception. However, it's an exception that's extremely common. Not in terms of the number of verbs, but in the usage. There aren't that many verbs that do this, but the ones that are, especially a couple of them here, are extremely common. So once you start reading text, you know this will be second nature to you. What happens with these is they have a quiescent Aleph. Quiescent means it goes silent, right? And as a result, or related to that, I don't quite know how these two go together, but they have a holum prefix vowel. You can see that here as an example. Vayomer. Now this is the preterite form, but you see you got your yud, that's the prefix, right? The dagesh is there because of the vav consecutive. You got your yud prefix, and then you've got this holum. That holum there is this here, the prefix vowel. So instead of a segol, or a patach, or a hiddick, which is what you have in the strong verbs, you have a holum right here. And in this form, it's actually reduced. You got there because you have a vowel, or you have shifting of accent here. Now, like I said, this is okay. This occurs in the imperfects and its counterparts that have the prefixes. The most important verb is amar, to say. And throughout the Bible, you'll find tons and tons of phrases. Vayomer, he said, he said, he said. Vatomer, she said. Vatomeru, they said. They meaning, no, you said. Vatomeru. You plural. And so this is the count that I managed to deduce from my software program. Occurrences in the Hebrew Bible, approximately 5,300 of these. So vayomer is maybe certainly one of the most common words in the Bible. And achal, to eat, is another one, 822 of them. They have lots of those that also follow this. In fact, this is the one that Ross has in his paradigm on page 547, achal. And avad, to die, fairly frequent. Ahav, less frequent, but also follows this pattern with the holum, prefix vowel. 54 occurrences, and afat, to bake. So there aren't many verbs that do this, but this one in particular is so very common. Okay. Yes, that's it for first Aleph. In the next couple of modules, we'll look at the imperfect and then I think the imperative.